Hi, I'm Amy Edwards. I'm the director at Elevated Charter School. This is an info video for brand new families who are just looking into whether our school is a good fit for you, and our current families who want to know more about what's happening in the upcoming school year and what things are developing at Elevated. I'm going to go over everything very briefly. And so if you have questions at the end of this is my contact information. I love to talk to parents, so feel free to email, call, or text me with any questions. All right, I always have to start with our mission because everything that we do and create comes back to us asking, does it help the student develop their initiative? Does it allow for them to express their creativity? Does it facilitate collaboration among peer learners and between teachers and learners? And does it help them build critical thinking skills? Does it build skills in how to learn and how to think, not just content memorization? We really want to create lifelong learners here so that even after they finish school with us, it impacts the rest of their life. These are our elevated values or our core beliefs. I think anytime that you are considering a school or a teacher or any kind of education for your child, you really need to look at what are the core beliefs of the director, the teachers, the support staff that are at their heart of why they do what they do. Our core beliefs are we know everyone can learn. It's the teacher's role to create a learning environment that invites growth, that even embraces mistakes and helps students learn from that, and just creates a really rich environment where all students can learn and teaches them that everybody learns differently and that's okay. We view learning as a lifelong process, and we share that with our students. We believe learning should connect to real life and personal interests. So the answer to the question, why do I need to know this, is never because it's on the test, not here. The answer to that question is where they will use it in their lives, how they will apply it. Maybe it's for higher learning that will apply later in their life, but most of it is for right now and where they can see it in their life. At the end of our units, we have a key assignment, and that key assignment connects somehow to applying it to their life or connecting it to their interests so that they understand not just the learning, but why they should put the time and energy into learning that. And we believe learning should be interactive and collaborative, which is why we created a lot of the formats for classes and activities that we did. That leads me right into a virtual school. From the very beginning, my board and I were very clear that we wanted to create a virtual school, a virtual classroom experience. What I mean by that is all the positive things that go along with students going into a physical classroom, having interaction with a teacher who gets to know them and finds out personal things about them and what they like and what they don't like, and pets and all kinds of fun hobbies, and really gets to know them. Live interaction with friends, making friends, learning with peers, and also having materials right there in front of them so they can use them while the learning is happening. So that's what we're striving to create at Elevated, is that experience. We want to partner with parents. We know that you are the expert on your child, and we need your insight so that we know not just how they're learning, but maybe why they are struggling with something that we're trying to teach, or what's happening in their life that maybe today is not the best day for them to engage in something, or something that they are interested in so that we can connect their learning to that interest. We provide personalized competency-based learning. You may have also heard that called PCBL, and because that's much shorter. And that means that we focus on skills and knowledge proficiencies. So we don't measure learning by how many worksheets a student does. We measure learning by, Do they understand that content? Can they demonstrate that skill and demonstrate that they have acquired that knowledge? That is how we measure their learning. How many worksheets that takes, or practice, or time on an online game, or playing games in class, or watching the review instruction video, that is individual to each student. And we post all those resources on our management system so that they can review as much as they need and practice as much as they need. We are an inquiry and project-based learning model. Inquiry-based means that a lot of our lessons and our units begin with a question. It can be questions from the students. Sometimes the teacher will announce a topic and just ask what kinds of questions that brings up for the students. Sometimes the teacher will pose a thought-provoking question, not a yes or no question, but an open-ended question that really invites inquiry and investigation, and that the students will sort of be revisiting throughout the unit to see if they can come up with an answer that they like by the end of it. I am so excited that next year we are doubling our teacher staff. And what does this mean for you? This means double layer support for parents and students. We will have teachers who are education coordinators, and this year we called them cohort teachers in that role. But our cohort teachers also taught classes this year. So our teachers did such a great job this year, but it's very challenging to be in both of these roles. Next year, I'm so excited that we will have education coordinators who devote all of their time and energy to those tasks, and class teachers who devote all their time and energy to the actual class instruction and supporting students virtually with academics. So our education coordinators, they are licensed teachers. They support all the students within the same household. So parents, you don't have to go to a whole bunch of meetings with a whole bunch of different teachers. You go to your education coordinator with all your questions, your concerns, anything you need help with. You have one person to go to. And if the education coordinator doesn't know the answer, they will find out and get back to you within a day or two. They're pretty quick. They partner with you to create a personalized learning plan that includes classes, it includes curriculum, it includes elective, interest-led learning, and extracurricular activities. They can approve or recommend alternative curriculum if you decide that not all of our classes fit your schedule or your child's needs. They can help you make sure that all the core subjects are covered, however would be best for your student and your family. They can customize learning to accommodate travel and busy schedules. So we can be really flexible, and we want our families to have those opportunities to travel and see the world and see places and have experiences together. So we want to work with you to be flexible in your child completing their learning with that. They attend and they teach at our in-person Mondays, and that's so all of their students can get to know them personally. So then when they jump on a Zoom meeting with them, it's not someone that seems like they only see them on a screen, but it's an actual person that they know. Our class teachers focus on one subject, and they teach multiple levels of that subject. So our reading teachers teach 3 or 4 levels of reading. Our math teachers teach 3 levels of reading each. And it allows them to really focus on one subject and deepen their understanding of the subject and some best practices in teaching it. They also understand exactly what skills and knowledge are needed for each student to progress to the next level, because they are also working with students at the next level. So they're very helpful if you're wondering how your student is doing in a certain subject or how they can be helped even further. Our class teachers update Schoology, which is our learning management system. So parents and students always have all the information that you need. You don't have to depend on your student to tell you if they have an assignment that they need to do. It's right there on Schoology. And the teachers post instructional videos. So they teach class live, but then they will create a video that is instruction on the key concepts from that class and post that. So if a student misses class, they still have that. But even a student who goes to class who might need to review it again, then that video's there. They also post other learning resources so that students have other ways to learn. Maybe the teacher's instructional video is not quite helping them, so they post additional resources and they post assignments and they post that unit end key assignment at the beginning of the unit. So everybody knows going forward why they are learning all these different skills and learning about all these different topics and content because they have that end goal given to them right up front. And parents are aware of it too. They can customize assignments if learning styles or interests need to be met. They always give choices, but if none of the choices seem to resonate for your student, have them talk to their class teacher and see what they could do to tweak it a little bit so that your student is really excited to do it. And they are available outside of live class meetings to support all students. And by that, I mean even students who aren't taking their class, even students who are choosing to do alternative curriculum. Let's say you have a math curriculum that you've used for years, your student loves it, it's working, so why change it? They are available to help if you are working your way through it and you hit a snag, there's a concept, you've tried to explain it, it's just not clicking for your student. Make an appointment with one of our math teachers and get on Zoom for 15-20 minutes. Your student and the teacher, you can join in too and have them help get over that hurdle. They can explain it a slightly different way, maybe give some different examples, and then you're good and you can go back to working on your chosen curriculum. We are very big on partnering with parents. Partnerships have two sides to them. And so I want to make sure that both sides are really clear. This is for new families as well as current families. And so, Elevated, we provide learning resources such as each student is issued a Chromebook with a 5G internet chip. So, and we pay for the internet during the school year. So if you're on the go or you have several different students at home trying to work online, or maybe one of the parents works from home and your student's trying to get online, having that dedicated 5G internet access is really helpful for making sure they have a solid connection. We send a student starter kit to all our students each year, so even our returning students are getting this. It has some basics like notebooks, pencils, colored pencils, a small whiteboard, dry erase markers. This coming year, I'm really excited that we are adding to that Elevated planner. We're having our printers develop a planner. It's a week at a time planning, and it already has the elevated dates in there so that you don't have to wonder when we have breaks or when we have different activities. They'll already be in there, and then you can fill in your own student's schedule to help you stay organized. We have live and offline virtual classes that our elevated teachers teach, and those are available for all the core subjects. And as we move into 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, there are several electives that are available as well. There's teacher support outside of class meetings, like I just said. Whether you're taking a class with us or doing alternative curriculum, you can still get that support. We have in-person elective classes with special vendor workshops. Those are on Mondays. And we have field trips also on Mondays. We provide enrichment or intervention support in reading and math. If some of our students are having trouble with specific skills, then those are a great way to build up those skills outside of their regular class so that they can keep going and advancing in their learning. We have small group classes for that. We also have several different resources, both digital and hard copy resources, depending on what you think will work best for your student. We We have a wonderful SPED team. If you have a student with an IEP, or if you're concerned that your student may have a learning disability that is impacting their ability to access the learning materials, come talk to us and we would love to support your student and help them have a great experience learning. We have elevated virtual clubs. The teachers and the vendors we bring in to run these clubs, there's no charge for that. There are material fees, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We have online resources available to all our enrolled students. Brain Pop, Freckle, Leililo, those are all absolutely no charge. ST Math, this is no charge. Prodigy is available for just part of your personalized learning funds, and it is incredibly discounted. We get a whole year for $30 instead of the regular $12 to $15 a month. And then IXL, we're bringing on next year, and our math teachers will be using it with their math classes, but it'll also be available for others to use. And we provide personalized learning funds, which I'm going to talk about next. But before I do that, parents, your side of the partnership. Like I said, we know that you are the experts on your kids. You know your kids. We appreciate that. We need your help at home or in the car or on the go. We need your help on the other side of the computer. We need your help with creating the best learning environment possible during those live classes. Live classes meet 1 to 3 hours a week for each subject, depending on the subject and the grade level. But so it's not a lot of time, but during those times, we really need the students to be focused because there's a lot of instruction and learning and they're very interactive. I highly encourage you to get headphones so your student can hear everything in class and not be distracted by other noises in the household. We need you to help your students get online when it's time for class. This is usually just at first and with our younger students, and you'd be surprised how fast they catch on and can do it on their own. Like I said before, our class teachers post information in Schoology. So do our education coordinators. They each have a cohort class where they post information as well. So it's all there for you, but we need you to check Schoology in order to have that information. One of the things that's posted in Schoology at the beginning of each unit is exactly what will be learned each week and what materials you need to pull out of your cool class materials box for that week's class. So if you can check Schoology and you can pull those materials out before class and have them available for your student, they will have a lot more fun in class because they'll get to fully participate. We really need you to communicate with us. Reach out to your education coordinator, reach out to class teachers, reach out to me. If you have any questions, if you have concerns, if something's not quite going right, we want to know that and we want to know it early. We are very flexible and we are happy to be as accommodating as possible. But we need to know if you need an accommodation. We need to know if something's not working. As we're wrapping up this school year, there are a few things that are brought to my attention that have been concerns for a parent or two for a couple months. And it just makes me sad when I get those messages because we could have easily fixed it. Everything that I've heard about, we could have easily fixed. Solved the problem, gotten more flexible, and we would have done that. And so it would have been really nice to find that out in the beginning. So don't be shy about asking questions. Along those lines, most parents at first need a little tour of Schoology and they need some help navigating Schoology. It's a learning management system. Canvas is also a learning management system. Schoology is a little different. It was designed specifically for K through 12 education. Your education coordinator would be happy to get on a Zoom call with you, share screens, help you navigate Schoology, show you what to click on, troubleshoot any problems you're having with it. It does work. It is a great organizational system, but it does take some getting used to, and we are happy to help you learn how to navigate it, even if we need to do that a couple times. It's okay. We need you to monitor your children's online usage. Our computers do come with pretty good filters. Both the Utah State Department of Education put filters on, and then we have our own filters that we have on. But you have very clever children, and we need you to still keep an eye on their online usage. Let us know if there's ever a problem. Let us know if they're ever able to get around our filters and access something you don't want them to. That's so important for us to know because we will go in right away and make sure that it's safe for them. And we do have in-person activities on Mondays, and we want as many of our kids there as possible, but we need you, parents, to transport them to and from those in-person activities. We don't provide transportation for students. If you want to connect with other families who live near you, the Facebook parent group page is a great place to do that. And finally, we need you to help us document learning and attendance. This is a requirement placed on us by the state. So we need your help to do it because your kids are learning at home. If your students are taking our live or offline classes and assignments have been uploaded, often we'll just pull samples right from there. But we need you to help us um, document this through learning conferences. At the end of each unit, your education coordinator is going to reach out to you and schedule a Zoom meeting with your students. And you only need to do one meeting that all your students will go to. It's not super long, and it's fun. The students get to brag about any projects they've done, something interesting they've learned, something fun that they did during the unit's time. But we need you to make time for that because that is one of the ways that we verify engagement as a publicly funded school. We ask for learning samples, which we can pull from classes if they're in our classes. But if they're doing alternative curriculum or outside classes, then we need the parent to email a learning sample to your education coordinator each unit. It can be a worksheet. That's pretty simple. But it can also be photos with 3 or 4 sentences explaining what is happening in the photos, what your child is learning about in the photos. It can be a short video. We love to get those. They're really fun. It can be a summary of what your student learned, like the key points that they learned. I don't mean a list of what pages they did in their math book. I mean, did they learn division? Did they work on fractions? Did they cook and learn about fractions and cooking? So we can get really flexible and creative. We want some genuine learning samples. They are so fun for us to see. And finally, the easiest one is there's an attendance form at the end of each unit. You just check boxes for each school day to verify that your student did indeed engage in learning that day. That could be in our class, that could be at home, that could be an outside class, that could be playing, that could be going out to a museum, aquarium, historical site. So they're always learning, but we need you to actually submit that form so we have that documented. This is the one I get lots of questions about, personalized learning funds. So all charter schools are public schools. We are funded by state and federal uh, funding. Since personalized learning funds are public education funds, we have a responsibility to very carefully administer them, distribute them, and make sure they're used properly. And we are required to very carefully document exactly where every cent goes. So there are some things that we need from you in order to use your personalized learning funds, but we are very helpful in helping you get that. Some things you can use your personalized learning funds for are subsidized elevated class materials. If your student takes one of our elevated virtual classes, either live or offline, their class materials, the curriculum that we use, the materials that they need for that class is subsidized, meaning that a small portion of your personalized learning funds is deducted, but it is less than half of what that curriculum and those materials actually cost us. So we are subsidizing that. Elevated club materials. Typically, clubs at schools are fee-based and the parent pays out of pocket. You can pay out of pocket for a club, but you can also deduct it from your personalized learning funds. If you want to use an alternative curriculum, it needs to be non-religious, but the extra books, extra materials that will help your child learn, games, and anything that will help them learn. We can use personalized learning funds for that. Vendor classes, in person or online, and we have some great recommendations for that. If you need a subject we don't teach, or if you find a class that works better in your schedule, or you find a fun in-person class that you want your kids to do, then you can use personalized learning funds for that. You can use them for tickets and passes to museums, aquariums, zoos, historical sites, science centers, anything educational. You can use some of your funds for going to that as with your children. We go to a lot of those as field trips too, but this way you don't have to wait for us to host a field trip. Some of our families use funds for subscriptions like Crunch Labs, Little Passports, Kiwi Crates, Tinker Crates. There's a lot of subscriptions out there. These are just a couple examples. You're not limited to these. Anything educational, kids get so excited when something shows up once a month. And so we think that really inspires learning. Extracurricular activities, we cannot buy supplies for that. We can't buy equipment for that, but we can pay for the lessons, the participation, the getting sports and all those different activities in that we don't have at our school because we're virtual. All right, here's the fun stuff. What's coming up in 25, 26 for our classes that we're hosting in-house. So you have a choice next year for our returning families. This is a little different. You can place your student in a section that meets live online with the elevated teacher, or you can place your student in a section that we call offline. This section still has all of the instructional videos uploaded by the teachers who are teaching the live classes, all the additional resources, the assignments, and the teacher is available for support as needed. But it gives you a little more flexibility in when your student watches that video. Maybe you want to wait until later in the afternoon when you can watch it with your student and guide them, then offline might be a good option for you. Our classes meet anywhere from 1 to 3 hours a week, depending on the subject and depending on the level of the class. And whether you're doing a live online class with us or an offline class, we create class materials boxes. Every one of them has a sticker that tells you what class it's for, and we ship that to your house. Here are the classes we have coming up for 25-26 school year. On our website, if you go to academics, there is a classes menu item, and the full catalog is linked in there, which gives detailed descriptions of each of these classes so that you can decide which ones are the best for your student. Also, an education coordinator will reach out to you in the first week of August. So I encourage you to look at that catalog and get an idea of what you want, but she will touch base with you in the very beginning of August to just confirm everything, answer any questions, or if you just have no idea, she will help you figure it out. And then we will get all your class materials sent to you so your student is ready to start live classes. So for our Pathfinders, which are our youngest students, they're typically age 5 to 8. Grade level skills are between kindergarten and third grade. We have reading Pathfinders and story Pathfinders. Those are 4 different levels of reading classes. We will be using the Logic of English, their Foundations series. So if you want to go look that up, it's a pretty popular homeschool curriculum. So it works very well with our model and sending it into your home. For math, we'll be using Singapore Dimensions all the way from kindergarten to 8th grade pre-algebra level math. We have a junior scientist class, which is for our youngest learners. It doesn't require independent reading and very little writing. It's mostly hands-on experimenting and talking and games. And then we have science pathfinders, which is a great fit for our 2nd and 3rd grade level students. We will be doing NOAO Physics 1 for this age group next year, and NOAO Physics 2 for our 4th, 5th, 6th graders next year. And we do mix those classes, so there's mixed ages, which creates a really rich learning environment. For social studies, we have community pathfinders for our really little learners. Again, this is no independent reading is required for this class and very little writing. We're going to be using an interactive notebook, so there's some cutting and attaching and coloring, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Also games and doing things online with the teacher live. And then for our kids who are working around second, third grade level, I recommend History Pathfinders. They will be learning US history and geography. And for our kids working around fourth, fifth, sixth grade level, I recommend our History Explorers. They will be using Joy Hakim's The Story of Us as the main history source and then doing a lot of interactive notebooks as well and some fun projects. And I really like Joy Hakim's series because she tells US history in a very narrative, story-based way. So it's an interesting read. Her books have a lot of pictures. They have pictures of the actual people, some pictures of actual documents, and she does a great job. They're really nice books to have and look through. The other thing that's really nice is her books are available on Audible, and we can provide that for your student. So you just let us know if your student needs the Audible version. If you don't have time to read aloud to them and they aren't quite confident enough on their own, then we can provide that for you. We also have some fun clubs. Our clubs happen after school, so starting around 2:30. For our youngest students, we have Junior Art Club, Junior Spanish Club, Beginning ASL, Junior Coding and Robotics Club, and a Theater Club. And then for our slightly older elementary students, we have another art club that just moves a little faster. They do a lot of the same activities as Junior Art Club, but they move a little faster. Spanish Club, again, very similar, but working on not just vocabulary building and single words, but some phrasing. Beginning and returning ASL. So we did have ASL this year. So if your student really liked it and did really well with it, they could jump into returning ASL so they can build on that. Coding and robotics. We're using Vex Go for our explorers. Theater Club ranges both ages, and we have Minecraft Club for our explorers. Our adventurer and high school classes and clubs, these are recommended for ages 11 to 14. They teach skills in the seventh, eighth, ninth grade range. We have US Humanities, which integrates US history and American literature. And that counts as two courses. If you're looking at it for high school or even for middle school, it shows up on the transcript as both high school English and high school history, but the course is integrated into one class. So it really creates a deeper learning connection between the two subjects, and it is a lot of fun to bring those two together. We also have a medieval humanities class for our seventh and eighth graders that is going to be offline, but it will be led by one of our teachers. We wanted to make that available because this year we had a large group of sixth graders who did ancient history humanities. So we wanted to make it available if they want to continue with medieval, but they are also welcome in the US humanities. We have Math Adventures still using Singapore Dimensions. Dimensions 8 is equivalent to pre-algebra, so just letting you know here. And then we do have High School Algebra 1. If you're not sure what math level your student is, don't worry, you're not alone. We can help you with that. There's a couple different placement tests we have available, or you can talk with one of our math teachers. You can also see the catalog, and they do have some specific skills listed that students should understand before entering each level. For science, we have the Quest, which is a role-playing game and story that goes throughout the school year. As students work their way through the story, they learn a lot of physical and earth science, and they have a fun time on their quest. We also have high school biology. I'm really excited about our new biology teacher joining us this upcoming year. Ninth graders can take the quest, but it will be physical science elective. So just keep in mind that you do need high school level life science, which the biology will need, and high school level physical science, which would need to be chemistry or physics for graduation. We have some electives, and check the catalog for prerequisites for these so that you are signing up for electives that are going to be appropriate for your student. We have intro to programming. They're going to learn Python and Pygame. This class does require some math skills up into the pre-algebra algebra level. If their math skills aren't quite there, but they really want to do some programming, I would look at the robotics club that's down at the bottom there. That is our most advanced robotics club, and it was designed for students in this age range. Digital design is creating digital flyers, PowerPoint presentations, websites, really fun class where kids can get really creative. We have high school Spanish 1, which is first year Spanish at the high school level. We have a theater class open to 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. College and career awareness, I really recommend this for 7th and 8th graders. It is a great class. They'll discover things about their personality, their interests, their talents, their strengths, and how that translates to some careers that might be really fun for them. And then what college degree or career training do they need to reach those goals and do that? And then we have a creative writing. It's offered offline, but it's by our teachers. We have some great teachers teaching this class and guiding students. Both of them have Masters of Fine Arts in Writing. So if you have any budding novelists, they might want to take the creative writing class to sharpen their skills and get some great feedback. And then we have clubs for this age group as well. We have Advanced Art Club. We have ASL 1, which is actually a precursor to taking an actual accredited high school or even a community college ASL class. We have Dungeons and Dragons Adventurers League offered 3 different days of the week. We have coding and robotics, and we also have student council. I'm really excited to offer our older students this opportunity to lead out. Our student council will be reading through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens and working through the workbook, but they also will have the opportunity to plan some online activities that they feel would be beneficial to the school, to the students, some fundraisers, and some service projects. Monday Fun Day. Okay, we do have an in-person day on Monday. There are no virtual classes scheduled for Monday, and we hope that you will join us in person. We are expanding next year because enrollment has grown. This year we were at 6 locations throughout Utah. Next year we'll be at 8 locations. Sometimes these are parks outside, sometimes these are rec centers. It really depends on the weather and the location, but they're really fun. We have 4-week session classes that our teachers teach some of them, and then we bring in vendors to teach others, like Snapology and Hawkwatch are the 2 that I love. So our locations for the next year are St. George, Spanish Fork, Orem, Eagle Mountain, Sandy, Ogden, Logan, and Vernal. We have field trips and we plan them all over Utah. So hopefully there's a field trip near everybody, at least a few times a year. And our Mondays are drop off or stay and play. So for our classes, parents, you're always welcome to stay. For our field trips, most of the time parents can accompany us, and a lot of the time younger siblings can come too. It's really up to the field trip venue. So we do have a few venues that are restrictive as far as how many adults we can bring, what our ratio has to be, and some of them do not allow younger siblings. But you will know that way ahead of time when we announce the field trips, and we typically announce them at least 2 or 3 months ahead of time. So you got through the video. Who are we a good fit for that we've seen in this year? Parents who want a teacher partner. If you want your children to learn at home for various reasons, or you have a busy schedule and they're learning on the go, but you don't want to do it all, we are here to support you however you need us to step in and be that support and fill in those gaps that you need. Families who want to learn together. If you noticed, the topics for science and social studies are the same over multiple grade levels. We do that on purpose, and each year we rotate through the topics for those subjects. We do that so at home, the learning can extend into your family, and everybody's learning it a little differently because of their level or their age, but you're learning similar topics. So you could have some fun conversations at dinner. Families who travel, since those Chromebooks come with their own hotspot, you can take them with you. Or if you need us to be flexible in timing, then we're happy to do that too. We have several competitive athletes and young performers who need flexibility. It seems to be a good fit for them. We have some kids who came to us who really needed to build a love for learning and they needed to build their confidence. They'd had some negative experiences with learning and they are having a great experience now. Our teachers focus on positive feedback. We focus on growth mindset in every class. And some kids and families with health concerns. Sometimes it's an adult in the family, sometimes it's the student. So it's a little safer for some families to have their children learn at home rather than go to a school 5 days a week. And some kids they're having bad days because they don't feel good. We are flexible enough that it's not going to throw a big wrench in their learning if they just need a day to rest and recuperate. And we are willing to be flexible with you with that. So if you still have questions, I'm sure you have a million questions. Here is my email, and this is my direct line. Like I said, feel free to email, text, or call me. And I love talking to parents, and I would love to hear from you and answer your specific questions. Thanks.